Hello, this is that creepy bald guy, and welcome to the 4th episode of my To Boldly Flee review. I know, don't worry, it is almost over. As a whole, To Boldly Flee has been rather erratic when it comes to quality, ranging from weak to amazing to average. But the 8th episode is also the final episode, so hopefully it's a good one. But don't worry, even though I'm critiquing the ending, I won't spoil anything, except that the Nostalgia Critic dies. Anyway, it showcases the coolest effects. The story goes into heavy meta territory. There's a great mystery cameo, although it's pretty easy to tell who it's going to be. I thought it was Lord Cat. It's much more emotional than it is funny, but despite being over 40 minutes long, I was really happy with it. There was never a misfired scene. I always felt what it wanted me to feel, and it was perfectly paced. I'm probably going to get some shit for this, but I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Everything To Boldly Flee was building up to came together for this final moment, and it made the clunkier parts worth it. A perfect ending to an imperfect movie. But how would I sum up To Boldly Flee in general? I think fans of That Guy with the Glasses will enjoy it, while detractors won't. Yes, this entire review has been building up to that. You guys must be pissed! So yeah, I have many disagreements with Doug and Rob's writing theories. They cram way too much story in the script, there's a lot of downtime and some debatably bad running gags, but even when I didn't care for a certain reviewer's performance, Phalis, I did feel that in the long run all of them had enough to do. Plus, you can see the filmmaker's love of film and reviewing film in every scene. It just needed to restrain itself more. Regardless, everyone can agree that it is the most technologically accomplished anniversary, and the music is awesome. In the end, it's not intended to be a movie, it's intended to be a celebration of video reviewing, or more specifically, a celebration of That Guy with the Glasses. Or more specifically, a celebration of the actual That Guy with the Glasses. No, the figurative, literal That Guy with the Glasses. No, him! Maybe it's an ego trip, but as someone who has followed Dougie Diggle Dugs for so long, I was content. So if you add all these ratings together and then divide them by 8, you get a 6.9375 out of 10. Better than Suburban Nights, but not quite as good as Kickassia. I'd say endure the first part, but if you reach the 4th and you're not digging it, then maybe To Boldly Flee isn't for you. Let us conclude this video with a discussion of the reviewers, the last two. Like Linkara, fans of Spoony will be dismayed to learn that Spoony himself spends the majority of the film unconscious, even though he's one of the most important characters. I suppose it is disappointing that one of the last memories we will have of Spoony on That Guy with the Glasses is of him exposing himself to film brain. Although, to be fair, that would probably be the way I'd want to go out too. Spoony holds the key to communicating with Mati, and we learn through Spoony's mind what Mati plans on doing. But just because Spoony himself is incapacitated, that doesn't mean Noah isn't around. Noah spends the majority of his screen time playing Turl, which initially frightened me. I've never really cared for the character, and most of his jokes weren't working for me in part 1. But as time went on, I began to really like him. Spoony is very hammy in this role, but unlike, let's say, his performance in Kickassia, where his delivery was intentionally bad for comedic purposes, Spoony's acting is actually really good. He has some of the most difficult dialogue to work with, but sells it brilliantly, and his gestures, crazy eyes, and high-pitched voice all contributed to making him hilarious.
Have you not heard the Cyclown proverb that says that revenge is a dish best served lukewarm with a side of mashed potatoes and that gravy that gets the little skin on top that gets stuck in your teeth? Well, it is very lukewarm with a side of mashed potatoes and that gravy that gets the little skin on top that gets stuck in your teeth. In space. Oh, bite me, it's fun.
I think I ended up liking Turl more than Dr. Insano. I have to admit, I'm going to miss seeing Spoony appear in these anniversaries. As for the Nostalgia Critic, I'd like to break down his performance in honor of him retiring the character, but there isn't a whole lot I can say about him. He's still Dougie Doug. His brand of humor hasn't changed since the last movie. He uses lots of goofy facial expressions and gives himself the best lines.
Spoony, what are you doing here? Have you lost your mind?
Help me, critic. Take me home.
Spoony, we are home. My home. Get out!
and his sudden serious moments are well done, but if you don't like him in his reviews or the previous events, you won't care for him here. I will say this though, To Boldly Flee dedicates more screen time to him than ever before. In the Year 1 brawl, he shared it with the nerd. In Kick-Assia, he was just as much the antagonist as he was the protagonist. In Suburban Nights, he was still the main character, but he rarely had any scenes just for himself. Everyone was always there. To Boldly Flee has more moments where the critic is alone, contemplating about himself and what he has to do. He also develops, being much more sympathetic than he was in previous events. You'll either be pleased with this or not, but being as I think Doug is a good performer, I had no complaints. But the Nostalgia Critic isn't the only character Diblitz plays. Am I starting some stupid running gag with this name thing?
He's foreign. Hello, Neil! Nice to meet you!
That cracks me up every time. Zod is Turl's superior, and while he's less silly, he also appears to be more incompetent than his fellow villain. The two baddies have a lot of chemistry with each other, and their bantering provides the best moments in the film. Everything they do together is golden.
What just happened? He just shot our tactical officer. We'll get another one! We don't have another one! What? But if we had one, why would we need another one?
My only complaint with Doug Walker, Texas Ranger, ironically has nothing to do with either of his characters. It seemed like he was voicing all of the henchmen, and he doesn't do much to disguise his voice. Would it have really killed him to get some other voices? I mean, isn't Team 4-Star part of that guy with the glasses? And don't they specialize in cool voices? It's not like Doug does a bad job as them, it's just too obvious that it's Doug. So that was my review of To Boldly Flee, and I'm just glad you failed to realize that I never even watched the movie and was just making shit up as I went along. Did I just say that out loud? Anyway, my name is Marshall Horror, and I'm here to tell you that those who cannot do, critique, and if you're going to have cinematic diarrhea, then at least have the decency to wipe. Man, I am so glad I don't have to review any more movies based off reviewers. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free, hee hee. Flying away on a wing and a prayer, who could it be? Believe it or not, it's the Cinema Snob movie. Ah, that was retarded.